Hi, welcome to GRVO TV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. I'm doing my initial review. I have actually built and flown this, and it's of the Multiplex Fun Cub. I got this as a Christmas present. This is the kit version, and the reason I get the kit version, not the ready to run version of the Multiplex stuff, is generally it can be quite expensive. And if you buy the kit version, which is about £80, about $140, you can then basically suit yourself on what gear you put in. And all I did was, about a month before I got it, I just listed all the bits that I needed and gradually built up some new stuff, some second-hand stuff. So I got some high-tech HS65 mini servos for the rudder, elevator and ailerons, and some HS55 mini servos for the flaps, and that all works quite well. They actually show slightly bigger servos for the holes in the side of the fuselage are for slightly bigger servos, but the HS65s, they're pretty quick, powerful servos, and they work just fine, and it's dead easy to get them in. I built the whole thing using a medium viscosity super glue, which worked absolutely fine, and I used that for absolutely everything. It's an interesting build. It's not like a balsa covered build. It's more of a sort of just an assembly build, but there is glue in, there is alignment stuff. But the thing about Multiplex is they do go together really well. They're always, everything fits right. You just, obviously pre-fit everything and just test it, but generally it all works well. Just quickly, specs: the wingspan is 1400 millimeters. The overall length is 980 millimeters, and you can have you can just set this up with ailerons, elevator, rudder, throttle, or you can add in the flaps as well. Now, what I would suggest is, if you get this, definitely 100% do the flaps, because that's what makes this a fun cub. Without the flaps, it's still going to be fly okay, but it's just the flaps do make that added bit of interest, and some neat little tricks and things you can do with the flaps as well, which I'll talk about more once I get the plane up here. So you can get the optional flat floats with this, which I haven't got because, to be honest, I haven't really got anywhere I can fly off water anyway. You get massive wheels. So as it comes is how I've built it, just literally as per the box. So I'm just going to get rid of the box, and with the magic of editing I will get the plane up here. Okay, so here's the plane all complete. I haven't done the stickers as per the box, and just where have I deviated? I didn't use stickers for the windscreen. I just used a black marker pen for the windscreen, because I find when I'm putting stickers on round the corners like this, I tend to mess it up, and I didn't think they were going to last. So black pen, and you can always touch it up later. I also used a black marker pen just to paint the engine in, just to pick them out, and I think that looks pretty good. It's not a fantastic job. It's not perfect because it shows that this is Elapor foam, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and when it's up in the sky, it looks absolutely fine. Obviously, other than the flaps, the other big feature of this is the massive donut wheels. Now, just one point to note about these. These are great for dirt and grass and uneven ground and things like that. What they're not good for, because they are pretty much solid foam, is for taking off of concrete or tarmac. They're just not designed for that, and you will get the thing start bouncing around and skidding them around all over the place. They're designed for grass, and that's what they're brilliant at. I'm just going to rest this down here. Now, battery wise, it's perfect for me, because the only batteries I have are 1300 milliamps and the 2200 milliamp 3-cell batteries, and this fits in it. I just bung it in right, just sort of about there, and it's absolutely fine. I've got a slightly upgraded motor for a Watt 4, which I had spare, and I've put that in with an 1155E prop, and with that power plant, it flies absolutely fine. I have seen people put more powerful motors, bigger batteries in. This pretty much goes vertical, not out of sight, but it does go vertical, no problem at all. And it's a nice balanced power. You've got to remember that these wings are only foam. They do flex a bit, and you know, you start putting 4-cell packs in and go really high performance, and you are going to get into trouble, I think, with this. So a nice balanced powertrain is, I think, the order of the day. I mean, this motor costs about 20 quid. I've got a 40 amp speed controller, which is plenty, and all works fine. To get the battery in, you just pull up the front here. That I'm not keen on because you have to squeeze a little bit, and that is going to sort of degrade over time. But it is what it is. Plenty of room for your battery. You can move it right back, right forward. I tend to find on a calm day you can move it back a bit. On a windy day, which is all I've had so far, I have it right forward just to aid penetration. Easy. So there you are. So I'll just pop that battery in. There. Hop, goes in nicely. The speed controller I've just stuck on the side out the way. Works a treat. I've got this paired up with my new DX7, which there will be a review video on. Either if it's not on already, it'll be on shortly. And I'll talk a little bit about that as well, because I find that something like that fits this plane really well. So I'm just going to turn it on, hopefully not get my face sawn off. Let me just rest that back in there for now. So there you go, we are live. Now I just want to show you the main feature, which is the flaps, but also these little HS65 servos. Just watch the speed of the ailerons. Really nice, positive, instant controls. Tailplane, your elevator, and rudder. All works absolutely fine. I'm just going to show you the flaps. I've got these not quite set to 90 degrees, they're about 80 degrees. They will go more, but I've got them set up as I like it, and they seem to work fine. So I've got what I call takeoff flaps there, and then landing flaps there. And I've set it to a slight delay on the spectrum so that they run down smoothly like that, and also as they run down, you automatically get between 8 and 6%, depending on which setting of down elevator, to compensate and stop it ballooning. And I find that works really well. Now, in that position, if you take off with the flaps fully deployed, in anything more than, say, a 5 mile an hour wind, even from grass, it will take off in that. It literally goes up at sort of almost a 90 degree, it almost goes vertical. It just literally goes like that. There's no roll at all. So as a party piece, if people haven't seen you fly it, you can go right up to the edge of your flying field where you sort of wouldn't have enough takeoff run, and just take off vertically. If you put the flaps in the sort of mid position, it has a roll of about maybe 6 inches, and then without flaps at all, you can vary it as long a roll as you want, or it will take off in about 2 or 3 feet. You know, it's great. Now I'm just going to turn it off so I don't cut my face off. Right, so we are now disconnected, no power, so I'm just going to pop that back on. With the power system that I've got, which is not overpowered, it's not underpowered, it's about, I say, a nice balanced power. It the battery lasted, I set my timer for 8 minutes. I didn't actually set it until a good 2 minutes into the flight, and so I got 10 minutes, but then I went to plus 2.5, 3 minutes. So you're talking easily 10 minutes. I think you'll probably get a bit more. I've set my timer to 8 minutes because that's the sort of time I like to fly these sort of things for, and that gives you plenty of leeway, and you can land still with plenty of power left in the battery. So that is great. The instructions tell you, and this is one of the places where I deviated, and this was a bit of a learning from other multiplex planes. They say do not join the wings together, and it fits together on these kind of spars, and you've got 2 screws which fit it in. But essentially you could pull a wing off even with it screwed on. It would be difficult, but you could do it. Now, I can understand if you've got a tiny car and you need to split the wing down and break it in half, but really, you're going to do that every time? You know, it's not a great big wing anyway, so I glued the wing together, and it just makes it, for me, a lot more stable. You know, I fly this to the extent of its envelope, fully aerobatic, and you know, I don't want a wing separating or coming apart or even moving or shifting, because you know it messes up your flight. So I glued my wing together, no problem at all. As it comes, as I say, it's a nice thing to build. You put a few bits in, join the fuselage halves together. It's dead easy. So you just use medium sino, the wing spars, and that all go in absolutely fine. The bit that took the time was putting in the servos and connecting up the ailerons and the flaps. I extended my cables, just got heat shrink there. It's neater than having plug-in extensions, so I just soldered them in. And the way I've set it up, because I've only used a 6-channel Lemon receiver, I've got my flaps on 2 separate channels, because you have to, because they're, if you put the flaps on a Y lead, one will go up and one will go down, because the servos oppose each other, so that's no good. The ailerons I do have on a Y lead, because you want them to oppose each other, so one goes up, one goes down, so that's fine. So, and you don't need them on a separate channels. So servos for your ailerons on a Y lead, flaps individual, and then you set them up. Because these flaps are not actually connected other than by the hinges, if you have the tension too little, they will sort of flick around and flop about. If you put too much tension, you'll buzz your servo, so you need to get that dead right and set up perfectly. So take some time to get your tension on your flaps to, like I've got there. So if you flick it, they just sort of ping back, but they're not under super tension, and that will be absolutely fine. These control rods and these little control systems, they look a bit sort of weak and feeble, but I've used them on Multiplex before. They work absolutely fine. Just a quick note about the undercarriage. There's lots of modifications for the undercarriage and strengthening, because it is, you know, quite bendy and weak, but it's fine. It's not a heavy plane, as long as you're not crashing it into the ground every time you land it. It's I mean, it's all bouncy and springy, and that's the idea of it. So don't, well, just my opinion, don't stiffen it all up so that when you come in it loses that charm of it lolloping about and all that. That's all part of the fun. Okay, so flying, interestingly, one of the first things someone said to me was, oh, you won't be flying that inverted low over the strip, will you? Because it's, you know, it's a cub, and it, you know, it's got dihedral, it's a bit trainer looking, and I was like, yeah, you couldn't be more wrong, really. This, you know, upside down, inverted, flicks, spins, prop hanging, absolutely fantastic. You can come across to the field at about 20-30 foot. You got no chance of landing it on the strip whatsoever. Deploy the flaps fully, bring it straight down, like at an angle like that, level out, and just plonk it down and land it wherever you want. It's just, it is great fun. One wheel touch and goes, one wheel landings. It's great. Crabbing it sideways across the field, you know, trying to touch perhaps a wingtip and a wheel together at the same time. Absolutely great fun. It is what it says on the tin. It is a fun cub. Interestingly, my kit came with a metal motor mount, which I understood they came with a plastic one, and I'd already bought an upgraded aluminium mount, but it came with an aluminium mount anyway. As it happened, the holes on the mount that you get are just holes, they're not slots, and they didn't line up with my motor. But the one that I bought has got slots in, so I've actually used the motor mount that I bought anyway as an upgrade. And the only difference is the cutouts are a little bit more for cooling on this upgraded one. But it's nice that they do give you an aluminium one. I would have made it fitted. I would have just had to drill a couple more holes in the mount to make it fit. I thoroughly recommend it. I know in this day and age of being able to buy a kit and a plane all ready to go for just over £100, this seems expensive at £80, £86 for just the kit, but I don't think it's that bad. And if you can source the bits and bobs, like I've got a speed controller from Hobby King to To be honest, you could get the flight kit from Hobby King for this for not a lot of money, and you'd still get up in the air for, you know, probably around 130, 140 pounds. And to me, you get a nice looking plane, certainly a fun plane. You can paint these now. You can buy the special paint for them. You can do your own design. I've gone slightly different to the box with my design, with just some of the stickers, not all of them. And I'm really happy with it. I just can't wait to get out and fly it some more. At the moment, the weather is pretty horrific. We've got wind, rain, grey. It's just horrible at the moment. It's like it every day. So I've snatched a couple of flights with it, and that's it at the moment. But my overall impression is fantastic. Let's see what Yoda thinks.
The Force and its wisdom are all around us. Ask your will a yes or no question. Sense the Force in my left hand. Press it and answer you, I will.
Okay, is the Fun Cub a winner?
Don't think. Feel. Be as one with the Force. The answer you seek will be found there.
Bit non-committal there, I think, Yoda, but overall I think he's saying if you feel it, then yes it is. I definitely feel it, and I definitely think this is a winner. And paired with a cheap but extremely highly sort of spec'd transmitter like this, works absolutely fantastically. So this has been GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions, with my review on the Multiplex Fun Cub. Cheers, bye.